The other day, episode 3 and 4 of Hazbin Hotel released. If you haven't watched my review of the first two episodes, I'll have it linked below in the description. In this video, like usual, I'll discuss each episode separately and talk about the things I liked and disliked about each. Then, I'll provide some concluding thoughts. Right off the bat, in episode 3, I love Serpentius. He was really funny in episode 2, but we got even more screen time for him. He's so cute, and his interactions with his egg boys are adorable. We got some more character development for the main cast with the trust-building exercise. It was good fun, and I liked the bickering between them. Nifty as well is really interesting. It seems like with every episode she gets crazier. The humour was spot on in this episode. It has a ton of great jokes and simultaneously includes a lot of lore which I was fascinated by. It sets up future plot points but also gives context to characters we only saw briefly in the pilot, which I'm happy to see. Alistair walking around town with the Egg Boys and meeting Zestial was awesome. This is our first time meeting Zestial and I really like his character. His voice is fantastic and it's cool to see a character that actually scares people alongside Alistair. He's voiced by James Monroe Eagleheart, who also voiced Ozzy and Tex in Hell of a Boss. James is so talented and knocks the ball out of the park with every performance. I enjoyed seeing all the random sinners running in fear or letting themselves on fire after seeing how scary Alistair and Zestial are. Zestial is the oldest overlord out of them all, which really puts things into perspective. If he's older than Alistair, then he's probably hundreds of years old. He speaks in early modern English with fancy words like thee and thou, so I reckon he's from the 15 or 1600s. The other overlords have fantastic designs, and I hope we get to see the rest of them speak at some point. Missy Zilla is my favourite, however Rosie is a close second. Carmilla Carmine was introduced along with her daughters. Overall, I like her, and I burst out laughing when she made fun of Alistair and said she didn't care that he was missing. She's a very fun character, and I hope to see her again in more episodes. When I first watched episode 3, I actually didn't like Velvet and Carmilla's duet. However, after listening to it at least 10 times, I actually enjoy it. It's very catchy, has a good beat, and helps to articulate the contrast in the overlords. Velvet is the youngest overlord, she's really cocky and doesn't have much experience. Whereas the older overlords like Carmilla and Zestial have been around for a while, but they're seen as out of touch and outdated by their younger peers. Velvet's voice is growing on me a little, and I love Zestial's line during the song. The second song was alright. I wasn't a massive fan, but it was nice to see Vaggie sing her first song, and I liked the bit from Zestial at the start. My favourite part of the episode was at the very end when Serpentius was reunited with his egg minions. They're just so adorable. I seriously do like his character. He's quickly risen to be one of my favourites. He provides such fun energy to the main cast, and it helps to contrast the more serious characters like Vaggie. With the things I liked covered, it's on to the things I disliked. Personally, I think the time management of the episode could have been tweaked. I don't think the second Carmilla song was necessary. I think it would have been cooler if instead of that song, we saw the main cast fighting random sinners and gaining trust that way. A bit like in the pilot where Angel and Cherry fought against Serpentius. The second thing I noticed is that the songs kick in very abruptly. I'm not sure if this is an audio issue, but they almost make you jump once they start. I was watching the episode with friends and one said, "Please, no more singing," and literally 2 seconds later, the second Carmilla song started. I feel like there could be a little more build up, like in Hell of a Boss. So far in Hazbin, the songs appear out of nowhere and it's a bit disorientating. And lastly, I felt like the argument between Vaggie and Charlie felt a little forced. It kind of came out of nowhere and didn't feel very natural. It was obviously there to set up for the song at the end, but it doesn't really resonate with me. Other than those couple of things, I was pleasantly surprised with episode 3. On a first watch, I actually disliked the episode and it was mainly because of that second song. But upon a second watch, I was able to appreciate all the funny jokes and little details. This episode is pretty good and going in B tier for me. And now on to episode 4. With each episode, I love the main cast more and more. I think out of everyone, my favourite is Nifty, followed by Husk. Nifty is just hilarious, and Husk is so charming with his voice and dialogue. He can see straight through people, and it was great to see him and Angel argue. So, time to discuss the elephant in the room. In my personal opinion, I think they handled the poison scene well. Contrary to what a lot of people said on Twitter, I don't think it glamorized SA or anything like that. When I watched it and the scene before with Angel and Val, I felt really uncomfortable, and that's the point. I really want Angel Dust to escape Valentino and get the help he needs from Charlie and the rest of the cast, but he's stuck in that awful cycle which the Poison song showcases. The flashing scenes and graphic imagery make your emotions hit rock bottom, and they get lifted up a bit later with the Loser song. As for Poison itself, it's really catchy and it's been stuck in my head all day long, along with the Loser Baby song. Valentino as a villain is also starting to grow on me. I started off disliking his voice, but after seeing this episode, wow does his character feel evil. He's genuinely more of a threatening figure than Adam is. Seeing how he treats Angel and Charlie was heart-wrenching, and I know I'm not alone in hoping that he gets taken down a notch in a later episode. Like with the Poison song, seeing how he treats Angel made me feel uneasy, especially when he licks Charlie's arm. This character's meant to be a creep, and they nailed it completely. Like I said before, Husk is one of my favourite characters now, and he absolutely stole the show here. Husker Dust fans got a 5-course meal in every way. As a viewer, we were down in the pits of despair after seeing Angel's scenes, but once Husk and Angel start singing, we're brought right back up. Husk and Angel are just so cute together, and their song Loser Baby is my favourite of the episode. It's the perfect balance of fun lyrics, great visuals, and interesting lore. I was shocked to find out that Husk was an overlord, and this really explained a lot about his character. People wondered why he'd help Alistair out at all, but now that we know that he's forced to because of his debt, the contrast between him and Angel was also something I never picked up on until this episode. Both of them are in contracts with someone evil, however, neither of them lose hope. They have each other and are working to make the Hazbin Hotel a reality. Perhaps if they save others, they can save themselves, and I love that. Loser Baby is tied with Vox, and Alistair's song is my favourite so far. So for the first time in what feels like forever, I don't have any issues with an episode. I think the only thing that could be improved was if there was a little gap between Val and Angel's scenes and the Poison song. It felt very fast, but on the other hand, the fast pace made the viewer even more depressed. I felt really disheartened watching it, but after going over what happened, I fell in love with the episode. I understand that it's not for everyone, and it definitely tackles those complex topics, but for me, I think Masquerade is my favourite episode so far, and an easy S tier for me. It provided so much character development and lore, and I'm really hyped for the rest of the season. So yeah, that's my review of episode 3 and 4 of Hazbin Hotel. If you have any thoughts or disagree with my opinions, I'd love for you to leave them in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching.